AIM-listed gold producer Goldplat, which has interests in South Africa and Ghana, and is also moving into PGM or platinum group metals, has just produced a third quarter and 9-month trading updates, which shows a significant improvement for the third quarter on this time last year, and also a big improvement on the 9-month period overall. Let's get an update now with the Chief Executive, Werner Klingenberg, who joins us now on the line from Johannesburg. Werner, it's good to catch up with you. I want to get, first of all, an explanation of just precisely what it is you do. I said you're a gold producer. You are, in effect, producing gold, but you're not digging it out of the ground as such, are you?
Yes, thank you, Jeremy. It's nice to join you. Yes, I think, Goldplat is quite a niche business in terms of what we do. Some people will refer to us as an industrial processor. Our focus is basically to recover gold, PGMs, or any other value from byproducts being generated by current or historical mining industries. We've got facilities based in South Africa. We also have an operation in Ghana in the port of Tema. And the focus is really to go and assist mines to enable them to clean up byproducts from the environmental perspective, to extract the last bit of value that might be in there, and then return value to them, and obviously retaining margins for ourselves.
Now, as I said at the top, you produced this report in the last couple of weeks, showing a really big improvement on the third quarter. On the third quarter this time last year, I think it was more than 90% up, I think, in terms of operating profit. And there's a 43% improvement for the 9-month period. What's been going on? I mean, we do know, of course, that mining companies have been finding it going tough because of COVID-19, and a lot of operations were stalled during 2021. But what has been the driver in your mind behind this improvement?
Yeah. Well, I think, Jeremy, we might need to go back a little bit further than just the last 9 months and even the 12 months before. About 3 years ago, we've decided to move away from our junior mining strategy or aspirations. We've sold our mine in Kenya, and we still have about just over 5% share in Catapult Gold. That's also a London-listed entity that relates to that sale. And since then, we've been really focused on the recovery business that I've just described. And I think since then, we've made a lot of headway in terms of securing clients, securing material, specifically in West Africa, where Ghana's been performing extremely well. And we're starting to see that benefit coming through.
As I said at the top, this PGM business is something which you are wanting to expand on, isn't it? So what's the plan?
Yes, Jeremy. For us, the focus has always been specifically on gold coming out of South Africa. That's where the business started. But even when the company was listed or named Goldplat, the idea was that we will focus on platinum as well. I think since we've moved away from mining, as I say, the focus has always been to diversify from a recovery point of view. And platinum makes 100% sense. Africa's got still the biggest resources of platinum. They've got a lot of active mines, and we're spending a lot of time and investment in terms of finding ways of recovering value from the smaller the smaller quantities or byproducts you might find on mines. And I'm quite encouraged by some of the results we've seen, and obviously with the float plant we're completing during May and commissioning during May, it will give us the flexibility to go and be a bit more aggressive when we source material as well.
Yeah. Just out of interest, in terms of the operational side of the business, how are you finding things at the moment? I think in your update, you talk about some of the material has been delayed due to a global supply chain and shipping delays. Is this causing much of a headache for you? Do you think that, this is clearly affecting a wide range of industries? How much of a headwind is this for Goldplat?
Yes. Yes, I think, obviously the one advantage we've got is the fact that our material is not perishable. So it is having an impact for us in terms of turning around the material we source, having impact on cash flows. You'll see that we've noted in the latest update that we've got about 5 million pounds worth of material that's either at smelters or refiners or en route there too. So there is a bit of a lockup in terms of all the profit we've done from that perspective. But I believe once some of this has eased through, a lot of that cash will come through. Obviously, there's some supplies we need to pay. It's having an impact, but it's not necessarily impacting from a loss point of view. It's more impacting from a cash flow point of view.
It doesn't seem to be impacting the amount of cash on the balance sheet. The company certainly seems to be well cashed up. I think you've got something like £2 million on the balance sheet. What are you intending to do with this? What plans have you got to start to put this capital to work?
Well, I think, we've in the last month and a half, we bought back roughly £400,000 of shares. And we are also currently looking at expanding. I already mentioned PGMs. We're looking at putting a plant in South America. And I think the most exciting part is obviously the work that we need to do around our tailings facility. We're going to need to expand, obviously, our current facility. That probably will cost another £350,000 in the near future. And then we're doing a lot of work in terms of getting approval for a pipeline so we can process our current tailings facility, which contains, well, in 2016, on a JORC-compliant resource done, about 82,000 ounces of gold.
Let's look at that £2 million on the balance sheet in conjunction with the share price. And I think at the share price, I also want to mention the fact that you've got a market capitalization of £12.5 million to put that 2 million into some sort of perspective. This is a share price chart here, which you'll have known. Now, this goes back to 2010, actually. But in the last year or so, you've been in this fairly tight channel between 6 and what's that, 8.5, 9 pence a share. What's going to give it a kick, do you think, to take it out of that? Many are saying that the gold price is overly depressed. We're hearing a lot in the markets at the moment about the fact that cryptocurrencies are beginning to lose a lot of steam. One wonders whether perhaps maybe some of the money that has been sheltering in cryptos might actually end up in gold. But certainly, I think so far as the markets are concerned, many are talking about the fact that gold is underpriced. What are your thoughts in terms of the share price of Goldplat at these levels?
Well, obviously, from our perspective, if we just look at the operational numbers, I think the previous financial results indicates a PE ratio of 5. I think if you want to analyze the latest numbers, 31st of December, you're looking at a PE closer to 3. So I believe we are undervalued. There's a reason why the board decided to do share buybacks. I think if I look at where we now, as indicated, we've gone through some strategic changes in the last 3 years. And it's a case of now proving to the shareholders that the current production profile and the profits and cash we're producing, we can produce in the foreseeable future. And all of that will be supported, as I've indicated. If we can get the pipeline to a third-party facility up and going, it means we've got additional revenue stream that's going to come from processing the TSF, which will obviously support the numbers even further. We are diversifying into PGMs, which is quite encouraging, and obviously broadening our footprint in South America will give us even more stability in terms of revenue streams, diversity, and that should actually impact significantly on the multiples.
Okay, so that really takes us into the next question I had, was all about where the company's going and what's in your in-tray at the moment. What do you see? How do you see the rest of the year developing? Here we are now sitting in May, clearly with the second half of the year still to come. What do you see as the things that we should be looking out for as investors in the stock?
Yeah, well, what we've seen at the end of Q3, you'll see that there has been a lot of material that's been locked up in terms of the constraints on shipping we've spoken about. So with a lot of that material being sold, we will see unrealized profits potentially realizing in the last quarter, which can obviously support us from that perspective. We've indicated to the market, obviously, all the efforts we've done in terms of sourcing material, and the the big thing that probably will happen in the next quarter is then the value we're going to see coming from the PGM plant once commissioned.
Okay, well, look, it's a pleasure to be able to catch up with you. Thanks indeed for joining us, Werner. It's good to see what is happening at Goldplat. That's Werner Klingenberg. He's the chief executive of Goldplat. For more videos from us here at IGTV, join us on Twitter at IGCom, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.